The riff rundown with my friends at Fishman. Today's episode is pre-recorded, but don't worry, we're still gonna have a lot of fun today. This is a song I've been getting a lot of requests for, so we're gonna be learning Heart of Gold by Neil Young. Such a fun one to play, definitely geared towards my beginners here. So have your acoustic guitar in standard tuning for this one. And as always, I like to mention, folks, if you're enjoying these lessons, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. It helps the cause, folks, helps the cause. So before we get started, you know I always like to ask a question, so let me know where you're tuning in from and the first song you learned how to play on guitar, all right? So where you're tuning in from and the first song you learned how to play on your guitar, all right? So again, acoustic guitar in standard tuning today. Here is Heart of Gold. Fun one to play. So we're going to be going over all the parts and all the chords and all of that good stuff. Again, as I mentioned at the top of the lesson, it's definitely geared towards my beginners here, but I'd say intermediates too. My advanced folks, really cool strumming that's happening here. Again, there's something for everybody today. So let's go ahead and get started at that intro. I watched a ton of videos of Neil playing this live, listening to the album version that's on Harvest. And one of the videos I was watching a lot was from his BBC performance in 1971. It's a really, really cool version of the tune. You can see a lot of what he's doing as far as like guitar-wise and chord-wise and all that good stuff. So I'll be talking about all that too. So let's go ahead and look at the intro. I'm just gonna break it down here. Let's look at this. So we've got a little riff in here, and we've got some fairly easy chords. Let's go ahead and have a look. So at the top, we're going to be hitting this low E string twice, just like that, all right? And it's 2 downward strokes here. I'm using a pick, all right? 2 downward strokes on that E string. So the chord that's going to be here is going to be an E minor 7, all right? So how I'd like you to play this, to get your first finger, placing that on the 2nd fret of that A string. That note is B. You're going to get your second finger, 2nd fret of the D string. That's your E note. E is an elephant, all right? And we're going to get our 4th finger here. We're going to place that on the 3rd fret of the B string. That note is D. So those of you keeping track, what are the 4 notes that are making up this minor 7 chord? The formula here is going to be 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7. We see these with the notes E, G, the flat 3rd, 5 is B, and then the flat 7 is D, which we have here. So when we're playing this chord, including those 2 top E notes, we're going to strike that chord 6 times. They're going to be all downward strokes here. Notice how it sounds different if I do a downstroke and an upstroke. We don't want to do this. When I watch Neil play this, all downward strokes. It's very percussive. So let's go ahead and do that together. 6 downward strokes. Now, if we look at this here, I'm muting a little bit with this part of my hand, okay? That heel of the hand, the side of the hand here. It's not quite palm muting. It's not what we're doing here. We're gonna strike downward on that strumming of that chord, and then we mute it. We let it ring just for a little bit, and then we go ahead and put that part of the hand and let it down, okay? Because we want that to be really, like think of them as really, really nice, punchy chords. All right, that's what we're looking for here. So let's go ahead and do that a couple times. Again. And last time. Again, very punchy. We want this to be very precise, okay? We don't want it too sloppy here. We want it to be precise. Okay, notice how those strings aren't ringing too much there, all right? So the next chord here is gonna be a D major chord. D, F sharp, and A. That's our 1, 3, 5 that builds this major chord. All right, first finger placing that on the second fret of the G string, that note is A. Your second finger placing that there on the F sharp, second fret of the E string, third finger, third fret of that B string, that note is D, D as in dog. And we're gonna strum that 2 times, okay? 2 times for that chord. And a nice, big, beautiful, resonant E minor is gonna go after that D chord. So second finger and third finger, the fingers are gonna be using with this chord, all right? Second finger, second fret of that A string, that note is B. Your third finger, second fret of the D string, that note is E. Strum everything. And that's how we're gonna do that. So let's go ahead from the top here. We're gonna play this through a couple times and we'll talk about the riff, all right? So here we go. From the top, I'll play this a little bit slow, all right? Follow along if you can, folks. Here we go. Let's do that again. You can do it. Do that again. And last time, a little faster. Okay, so after this we have that riff, right? The iconic riff in this tune. Think of it as we're kind of outlining that E minor, right? We're playing the notes that are within the chord, and we're doing some hammer-ons along with it, all right? So what we're gonna do here, lift, or not even, we're not even gonna do anything. Open A string, get your second finger, hammer that onto the B note, that's your second fret of the A string. Then the open D string. With your second finger, go ahead and hammer on there, second fret of that D string, that note is E. So the whole riff, A, B, D, E. Okay, I'll do that without the commentary. Let's go ahead and hear that again. And again, alternate picking here is really important. Again, those of you who aren't sure what alternate picking is, I'll tell you. We're gonna hit the top of the string. For the next string that we play, that's on that same string, go ahead and give it an upwards movement there with the pick, plucking the bottom of the string. Like that. So now we're going to do here, that's the entire intro. Let's go ahead and play through everything. I'll play it through a couple times slower, and then we'll do a few that are a little quicker. All right, so here we go. Riff. A little faster. Last time. So there you have it. So that's the intro. We're going to see this riff a ton during the song, but there's that part, all right? Leave it to Neil to come up with some really cool, beautiful, beautiful little riffs that are super fun to play and in a comfortable spot on the guitar, all right? So now we're going to go ahead and look at the second half of it. Here are the chords here. It's going to be E minor, C, D, and G. Now, when I was watching Neil play this, those are the versions that I saw him play on that part. And these are the same chords that we're going to be seeing in the verse as well. All right? So when we're looking at this, we're looking at E minor. What are those notes in that chord? E, G, and B. So there it is there. Our next chord is C, and I'm going to give you two different options on how to do this. Here's going to be option 1. First finger on that first fret of the B string. There's your C note. So C, E, and G, those are our target points, right? Our tonal centers of this chord. You're going to get your second finger here, second fret of that D string. That note is E. It's our third. Your third finger, place it right there on the third fret of that A string. That note is C. Notice how my fingers rather, have a nice curl to them, all right? That's what we want when we're going ahead and playing these types of chords, all right? We want a nice curl. Think of your fingers like they're curling like a bridge, okay? And we want to get as close to that fret as possible, getting a nice clear sound pushing through with those fingertips, okay? So that's what's happening there. We're going to strum from the A string downward. So that's option 1. When I was watching Neil play, I saw he was clearly playing a C chord. However, if you want to give it a little bit more volume, what you can also do is this. You can play a C over G, which is a really beautiful chord, which I really love. So how we would do the C over G, if you wanted a second option, okay? Instead of your third finger being on the third fret of the A string, bring it up to the third fret of the E string. So there's your G, okay? So that's our fifth, and that's acting as our root. So that would be a C over G. Your fourth finger now goes to the third fret of that A string. So that's your C. Now when we play this version, we can strum every single string. Here's what it sounds like. Really beautiful chord. All right. So we can choose to play that too. All right, so either one, a regular C major, you want to add that fifth with the G and the bass, you can absolutely do that too. All right, next chord is D major, we've already talked about it. And then G major. All right, so the notes here, G, B, and D, our 1, 3, and 5, let's find them. First finger, second fret of that A string, that's our B note, okay? Second finger reaching to the third fret of the E string, there we go. That note is G, okay? Third finger, placing that on the third fret of the B string. That note is D as a dog, all right? And then your fourth finger, third fret of the E string. That note is G. Strum everything. All right, so that's that chord. Let's go through the chords again. E minor, C, or C over G, to D, to G. Now, when we're talking about the strumming here, I'll go ahead and play this through. That's what's happening there. I'm going to play this nice and slowly, so follow along with me, okay? E minor, C, or C over G, to D, to G major. All right, so here we go. Let's do a quick version with the C over G. All right, so you guys can hear the difference in the sound, seeing what works for you. Here we go. All right, so this sequence of chords, okay, this is the part where he has that harmonica solo at the top. We're going to be doing this 3 times, okay? So that sequence 3 times. Then from there, we're going to do that intro riff once. And From there, leading into the verse, same exact chords. E minor, C, D, and G. Now, there's something else I noticed that he does in here too. This is optional, you can choose to do this or not, but I love anytime there's a cool like descending little bass line, it's a series of chords. I'm always all about it, so I wanted to show you guys that too. So it would sound something like this. Notice how we go to that F sharp, second fret of that E string, then back to that E minor. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that after that G chord. Notice how it's on that upstroke. And back to that E minor. All right, I'm gonna do this slowly a couple times here. Again, the verse chords E minor, C, or the C over G, D to G major. All right, so here we go. Again, giving you options here with that verse. All right, so I move on to the next part of this tune here. All right, so we're getting some cool suspended chords here. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go back to that E minor 7 to a G major, all right? So that E minor 7, we're gonna have 2 bars of 4 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 to G. Nice full chord there, all right? Go ahead and do that again. Nice and slowly, let's do that again. Again. So now we go to a C chord. So it's gonna be 3 hits. 1, 2, rest. To that final. 1, 2, rest. 3. Let's talk about those suspended chords here. Get your C major here. All I want you to do is lift up that second finger, all right? Let's go ahead and hear this as is, strumming from the A string. This is an A, or a C sus2 rather. We're playing that D note in this chord too. When you go ahead and put that second finger down, we resolve back to C. Listen how beautiful that is. I'll just highlight these 2 chords together. Not beautiful? So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna play a C sus2, hammer on to C, strum again, lifting that second finger, we're gonna play another C sus2. So it's gonna sound like this. I'll do that again. So C sus2, bring that second finger down, play C, lift it again, C sus2. All right, so to G. Let's do that again. All right, Now let's go ahead and give it context for this next like chorus part, all right? So here we go, play it a little slower. Let's do that again. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to play the intro, just give ourselves a little context here. I'm going to do an intro, I'm going to do a verse, and then into this chorus section. All right, here we go from the top. Harmonica solo. Back to that intro riff. Verse. Chorus. There it is, pretty neat, right? It's a super, super fun one to play. Pretty cool basic chords here. The strumming is gonna take a little getting used to, because again, with Neil, he's got a really cool, just such a great pocket when he plays rhythm. It is so, so fun to listen to. So I highly encourage all of you to listen not only to the album version that's on Harvest, but have a watch of some of his live versions too, and see how he plays the instrument. It's a really, really cool thing to see. You can see how percussive he is. You can really hear it in his solos too, particularly in, you know, like Down by the River and tunes like that. It's really, really neat. So that's what's happening there. So after we do that first chorus, at the 1 minute 14 second mark, we're gonna go ahead and have another harmonica solo. So lucky for us, the chords we have already covered. It's gonna be that E minor to C, or C over G, to D major, back to G. And that's gonna happen 3 times, all right? So then once we do that, we're gonna go ahead and go into another verse. This would be verse 2. So again, same chords, E minor, C, D, and G. Now, you wanna add in that descending bass line with that F sharp, the 2nd fret of the E string. Do it, it sounds great. All right, and then so we would do that. So then that next verse is there. Then we get to another chorus, all right? So this chorus, slightly different from the first one. I will play it for you here. There's one extra thing, but it's kind of cool because it's a part we've already learned, all right? So it'd be like this. Riff in again. So after the first time we play chorus number 2, we have that G chord. So after that G chord, throw in that riff, A, B, D, E. We have that open E string, leading us right back to that E minor 7 chord. All right, so in context, I'm gonna go ahead and play verse 2 here, all right? So, or not verse 2, chorus 2, chorus 2. Here we go. From there, we go into the next harmonica solo part, which would also, same chords as the verse, right? E minor, to C, to D, to G. All right, so that's what's happening there. Now, let's go ahead and look at the outro real quick here, but before we do, folks, if you want to learn more about the Fishman gear that I'm using, right, for these lessons, the RS Spectrum DI box and all the stuff I'm talking about, the Matrix Infinity pickups, I left a link in the video description so you can check it out there. And again, if you're loving these lessons, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with a friend. It helps the cause, folks. It helps the cause. So let's go ahead and look at this outro. So here's the outro. So that's what's happening there. Again, all similar chords here are going to be in a little bit different order, all right? So we're going to be doing this E minor 7 to D, back to E minor 3 times, okay? So we've got second time, so after that second time, right, we're going to go to a G major chord. Then to C. To a C sus2. Strumming it downwards twice. And before we play that final C chord, we play a C sus4, lifting that second finger up, opening up that D string. Just like that, so it'll sound like this. And then our C sus2, back to C sus2, ending the song on a G chord there. All right, so let's go ahead and go through that again. That's what's happening there, folks. Again, a really, really beautiful song, beginner-friendly chords, some of the accents, some of the strumming, all right, work on it. Be at a bit of an intermediate level. It's so percussive. So I want you thinking like a drummer when you're strumming this song, okay? Think rhythm and think playing in that pocket. I encourage you again, watch some of his live videos to see how he plays. I think he has such a unique style and such a unique sense of rhythm and time. And it's just so, I know for me, it's really, really inspiring to watch. I just absolutely love his rhythm playing. So do yourself a favor and check out some of those live versions. In particular, the BBC one from 1971 is really, really, really great. Really great. And some of the stuff from, some of the live stuff at Farm Aid, that kind of thing. It's really, really awesome. So that is the tune, folks. It is such a fun one. Again, my name is Angela Petrilli. As always, wishing you so much success on your musical journey and your playing. If you're enjoying the videos, be sure to subscribe. And folks, have a wonderful day, and I